Welcome to the Dennis Miller Show. I am the aforementioned Mr. Miller, and we have got a, dare I say, keen hour coming up. We'll be joined by Congressman Ron Paul, Republican Texas, 2008 presidential candidate. I find this guy, and I usually plunk him right in the middle of the 10-man bobsled squad there in the debates. I find him to be an interesting cat. I admire the cut of his jib in many ways. I think he's missing the point on the war. But, we'll talk. We'll see if he's a full-bore isolationist or exactly what his thought. Congressman Ron Paul, Republican from Texas, 2008 presidential candidate. Congressman, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Pittsburgh boy, so am I.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I know a little bit about the cut of your jib. I think I understand Pittsburgh guys to some degree. And I must say, I find that I agree with you on a lot of things, except when we get to the war. But why don't we go through the other parts of the curriculum vitae, and we'll talk about war at the end. What do you believe? Why should you be the prez, Ron?
I believe in limited government. I think the purpose of government is to protect liberty and not to run our lives or run the economy or police the world. Simple as that. And I think if you follow the Constitution, that's virtually what we're instructed to do.
Is it true that you only vote affirmative on things that you can directly cite from the Constitution? Is that true?
Yeah, that is true. That is my oath of office. Sometimes it bothers me because there are some things I would like to do, and I can't do because I'm not authorized to do it. But I think you have to follow the rule of law. If you can make exceptions for it, there's nothing left to the Constitution, and I'm afraid that's where we are today.
Mm-hmm. I see that you, in your life, even when you were in politics, you've delivered 4,000 babies. I always think a man who first presents life to the world, sort of like almost like a debutante thing with an umbilical cord. When you bring life out like that, I always take people like that's take on abortion seriously. I saw an interesting quote where you said if you abort a fetus 1 second beforehand, it's legal, and 1 second after it's born, it's murder, and you find that strange, right?
Right. It's so inconsistent, and then we're teaching, our young people that. So the teenager who throws her baby away is doing something to her is illogical, and yet she can be arrested. And I think we have to resolve that. A lot of people don't think about abortion as being getting rid of a viable baby 1 second or 1 minute before birth, and yet afterwards it's considered murder.
Mm-hmm. I also saw an interesting thing that I liked where you said that the government should protect property and not divvy it up. Some of these eminent domain cases must be driving up a wall, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a bad trend, but I don't think we really own our property. We pay taxes, and it's sort of like paying rent. And if you want to use it, you have to get a lot of permits from Washington on down to the local government. So we don't really have control, and yet it's been proven over the many, many years that people who own property take a lot better care of the property than governments take care of it. If you look at socialism and the extremes of communism, property wasn't, taken care of. But
yeah, it all goes to hell in a handbasket because nobody has any personal pride in it.
And there's every reason to believe that the environment is better protected under private property rights, and that you just have to recognize that we as property owners can't violate our neighbor's property. We can't pollute their air or their water, and we can't dump our garbage on their property. So private property rights is a very good way to protect the environment. And yet too often conservatives and libertarians fall short on defending environmental concerns, and they resort to saying, well, let's turn it over to the EPA. The EPA will take care of us, and then we can divvy up the permits that allows you to pollute. So
right.
I don't particularly like that method.
What about Hillary's quote the other day? Send chills up your spine. The thing about the common. Listen, I'm all for the common good, but that reeked of socialism to me.
Yeah, the common good is what she wants, and not what we want, or property owners. She's to define what is the common good.
Yeah, well, the thing that bugs me about Hillary is her and Bill have been on the public's dime since, day one.
Right.
They've had all the trappings of wealth without any of the messy earnings that it takes, actually. So, whenever I hear her judging about wealth redistribution and that, I think, wow, could they get any more presumptuous than that?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the war, Ronnie, because here's where you and I go down to the same fork in the road and take the Virgin Pass. Give me your stance on it. I guess you just want us out of there tomorrow, right?
Right, because I never wanted us to go in the first place, so it's pretty easy to want to quit something that's not going well when you didn't want it to happen.
What did you think was rotten in Denmark, or in Iraq, as they say? Why didn't you want to go? Didn't you think it was time to get it on with radical Islam?
Well, no, not really, because we had already been associated with radical Islam. Because of the interventions that we had pursued before, at one time we were an ally of Osama bin Laden, one time an ally of Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, but things can change in a millisecond, much less a decade.
On again, off again thing is what bothers me. But the authority that was it's a constitutional issue as much as anything. The authority to go to war was transferred to the president, but only Congress should declare when we go to war. So that bothered me a whole lot. And then the two reasons they gave, I thought were not valid. One was that Saddam Hussein was a threat to us, and I never believed that, and proved that he wasn't a threat. He didn't have an army or navy, and they were living in poverty, and they couldn't even shoot down one of our airplanes. And
what about bad intentions?
Pardon me?
I agree with you that we're not talking about like we're looking across the way and seeing the Roman centurions coming at us, but I do think that to have, after 9/11, a sword of Damocles, a bad-intentioned man, a possible expediter of terror, a possible, you know how Magic Johnson used to run the break and he was so great on dispersing the ball? I always thought this guy could help in that way. What about that we just had to take somebody who was not playing ball and smack him around to remind the world not to trifle with us? What about that? Wasn't it important to look formidable again, Ron?
Yeah, I think if you felt strongly about that, you should go after the people that might have had something to do with 9/11. Therefore, the support...
Bush knows he had nothing. Play that quote, kid, real quick, just to remind everybody. Play the quote. Bush knew there was no connection.
Yeah, and so why...
Nobody's ever suggested that the attacks of September the 11th were ordered by Iraq.
Well, that's just the short of it. It had nothing to do with weapons. It just had America establishing that at some point there was a line that could not be crossed. That's the way I see it.
Yes, and I understand the emotions, but the logic isn't there, because I did vote to support the authority to go in and go after Osama bin Laden, who was in Afghanistan at that time.
Yes.
And yet we didn't pursue that, and we still aren't pursuing it. He's in a so-called friendly country that we subsidize, who has nuclear weapons, and they're a military dictatorship, and that's in Pakistan. So we ignore Pakistan. We're over fighting a war that is going so poorly, and at the time there was no connection. Also, 15 out of the 19 came from Saudi Arabia, and yet that government there is a protectorate of ours. We protect that government no matter what. So we went after the wrong people, and we've gotten ourselves really dug into a hole, and which is about to spread into Iran. So those are the concerns I have. But the other reason, other than going after the weapons, the other reason given for this authority being given to the president was the fact that we had to enforce UN resolutions. Well, I don't think we should go to war for UN resolutions, and I don't think we should go to war unless it's declared. And it turns out that if you just look at history since World War II, that when we go into wars carelessly and we don't declare them, we do a very poor job in winning them. And here now we've been in Iraq longer than we've been in World War II, and I think it's precisely because of our carelessness on how we go to war.